Welcome back to the Cheap Heat Productions podcast. Welcome back to the show, and today on the podcast I have a man that's been part of a band that has sold 15 million records worldwide. Mr. McCaslin from Sum 41. How are you today, man?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. At the moment, live music is not allowed in Ireland, would you believe?
It's sad. It's sad. I mean, so you guys have no shows in Ireland at all? I mean, yeah, I guess there's shows going on a little bit in Canada right now. I'm in Toronto. I guess in a little bit in the US, but that's unfortunate. You know, hopefully Ireland is such a great place to play. And it's unfortunate that there's no shows there right now.
Yeah, the UK is pretty much open for shows. Like Bloodstock happened there last week and stuff. So the UK are doing shows, but we're unfortunately not. Even Belfast, which is in Ireland, but part of the UK, there's shows happening there. But so people from Ireland are now going to Belfast and getting the plane over to England to go to shows.
Yeah, it's I know. I mean, we're not playing right now, but I know a lot of bands are.
Yeah,
but we're not. We're so spread out. Like, I mean, it's too much logistical crap for us to get together right now with quarantining and everything. So it's difficult.
Yeah. So what's the last year and a half been like for you? Because you guys are kind of always on the road, aren't you?
Yeah. When we have a new album out or we decide to go on a touring cycle, we're out for, probably 7-8 months of the year. So yeah, it's been a little different. I mean, I have 2 kids, so and they were, I have a 6-year-old. He was out of school, so I was basically a grade 1 teacher for a lot of the year, and trying to just navigate through teaching a kid online, which is just strange because obviously us growing up, we never did it.
Yeah.
And then, then the 2-year-old, I have a 2-year-old and she's just, she's just a ball of energy. So I've been just kind of catching up on parenting, really.
Yeah. But it's been good, I suppose, from that perspective, just to have that family time, which you don't get in the long cycles.
Yeah. I mean, the first year of my daughter's life, I was away quite a bit. And so, I mean, I feel like she didn't know who I was every time I'd come home for like a week or 2. And she kind of looked at me strange, like, who's this man in my house? And then he's gone again. So, I got to know my daughter a little bit over this, which has been good.
They're going to miss you like crazy when you do have to go back on the road, I think, now.
Yeah, my son's pretty used to it, like because he's 6. But I think now that they're used to me home and being around, it's going to be different.
What does he think of the band?
Oh, he loves the band. I hear, the thing is, I've been off the road and I've had a break from Sum 41 for the last 1.5 years, but I haven't really because my son just plays it on YouTube every day, and he's into drums, so I hear it and he's playing drums to our songs on YouTube, and this is every day. Like I don't really get a break from Sum 41 at all. I just hear it all the time in the house, which it's kind of nice too. It's nice that he's into it.
Yeah, so he's going to play the drums, is he?
I hope not, but it's looking that way.
Yeah. For yourself then, did you start off as a bassist, or what way did you become involved in music as a child?
Yeah, when I was 14 and I was going into the 9th grade, it was a summer, and my friends had bought a guitar. I lived in a court, and right across the street and beside me, 2 friends each bought a guitar, and then my friend down the road already had a drum set. So they said to me, and I was like, oh man, and they're starting a little band, and it's like, oh man, I want to be in the band. And they're like, well, the only way you can really be in the band is we're missing a bass guitar player. And I was like, I have no fucking clue what a bass guitar is, because I was 14, and the internet wasn't around, and so I was just a music fan, but I didn't really know what anything was really yet. So I went up to the local music store and got the cheapest bass I could find, but it had to look like Chris's from Nirvana, black, and I was really into Nirvana, and so I was like basically forced into playing the bass.
Yeah, and you were touching on Nirvana there. What other influences did you have kind of starting in the band?
The whole Nirvana scene, like the grunge thing, like Dinosaur Jr., Sonic Youth, and a lot of stuff that was on the radio in Toronto at the time. I was 14, so I was pretty into the radio. And then slowly when I joined Sum 41 in 1998, I got more into like stuff they were listening to, like No Effect, Pennywise, Bad Religion, Rancid, SoCal punk thing, and that, and they kind of introduced me heavily into that more, and metal too. Like I always liked metal growing up. The first heavy metal record I ever listened to was And Justice for All, and but Derek and Steve and Dave, they're really into other stuff. I mean, Iron Maiden I hadn't really heard before they showed it to me. And stuff like that. So it's kind of changed over time.
And how did you end up joining the band?
Well, in '98, in the summer of '98, they went on this little East Coast tour of Canada for about a week or two, and they got to a big van accident, and their old bass player was driving at the time, and I guess it shook him up, and he quit the band when they got home, and so they had a bunch of shows coming up that they had booked throughout the year, and then starting in 1999, and they just said, we were all friends, like, so we all went to high school together, and they just said, we're in a real situation. We don't have a bass player now. We have all these shows lined up. Do you think you could just fill in for us? Like, yeah, that's fine. And so I just started going to rehearsals with them and playing, and then we started playing shows. And then at the beginning, I think, near the end of '98 or the beginning of '99, it was clear that I was, they liked me in the band, and I liked being in the band. And so I just had to tell my other band, Sum 41, they had more of a drive than my band, and they played a lot. And I always wanted to play more, but my other band, the singer really didn't like playing live. So I was like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, I just don't want to practice in a basement for the rest of my life. And so, it was an opportunity to join a band that liked to play.
Yeah, and plus, like, if we talk about the music industry as it is now, like, there's very little money to be made in record sales these days. Like, back in the day when you guys, that was kind of the end of it, maybe around 2000s and stuff like that. But now you have to be on the road to make your money. Do you find that?
Yeah, it's always kind of been like that for us. Even, I remember after our first album with Fat Lip and In Too Deep, like All Killer, our first full-length album, we came home off that, and we still lived in our parents' house. Like, we sold 3 million albums around the world, and we all drove home after the end of the tour, and we went home to our parents' house, and we had just made the record company millions and millions of dollars, but we have had ourselves on an $800 a month salary, and so I think you're right in the way that it's always kind of like that for bands, even more so now because streaming doesn't really pay. So you kind of always have to be on the road, and which is fine for us because that's what we do anyway. That's what it's always been for us. We've always done long tours. So
I had Brendan Brown, singer of Wheatus, on the show a couple of months ago, and he was kind of echoing what you said there about touring and stuff. And there's just no money to be made in the records for them. Yeah,
and even with touring, to tell you the truth, like, I think people think that if you're playing massive, big places, you're making millions and millions of dollars, which isn't true. There's so many expenses. Like, you're paying for your road crew, you're paying for your bus, which could be $1,000 a day. Then you're staying in hotels, and you're paying for everyone's hotels. So if you have 12 people on your band and crew, you're paying for 12 hotels every time you're in a hotel. So I mean, there's just so many expenses, and even with touring. So there's always the myth of bands making tons and tons of money all the time, and it's just not true.
Yeah, and plus the renting of the venue, which is probably the most expensive thing of it all.
Yeah, I don't get into that side of it because agent and stuff like that. But I just know that we're always paying out a lot. Your manager's taking a cut of everything, your agent takes a cut, and then as a band, you're paying for everything along the way.
Yeah,
so,
I see.
I hate to complain about it. I'm not meaning to complain about it, but it's just that's the way it is. And but we could always quit and do something else. But for me, I love it, and we'll just have to see this pandemic out and start doing it again.
Yeah. When did you know that the band was going to hit the heights of being on TV and all that kind of thing in the early 2000s? When you went to record the video, we say for Fat Lip, did you have any idea how far that would go?
No, because we had our first album before that, Half Hour Power, and it didn't get played. Like, we had this song called Makes No Difference, and it didn't get played on MTV or hardly got played in Canada. It got played a little bit. So, I mean, you just don't really have high hopes for that kind of stuff. And the funny thing about MTV is when we made Fat Lip, we put Pain for Pleasure on the end of it, on the end of the video, and we made it as one video. And when MTV picked it up and started playing it, they also decided to play Pain for Pleasure on the end, which you never really see too much on MTV, is like playing like double video. So yeah, I think the first time, we always talk about like the first time we ever really saw MTV, because we're Canadian and we didn't have MTV in Canada, was when we were on it. You're all over MTV, and like we don't have MTV in Canada. We can't even see ourselves on TV.
And have you got MTV in Canada these days?
Yeah, I think MTV came in around in the late 2000s or mid 2000s, but we always had something called Much Music.
Yeah, there's no music on MTV anyway, so
no music on music either.
Yeah, I remember seeing you guys for the first time on Kerrang over here. That was the first time I seen you, and we had MTV as well, and they were playing, I think maybe it was TRL, they used to do that show, and you were on that as well.
Yeah.
But you guys done the Kerrang tour over in Ireland, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah. I seen a video earlier from 2016 in the Academy. It was absolutely jammed.
Yeah.
Looked really, really good.
Yeah, that was cool because that was one of our first tours back after being off for about 2 years when Derek had his health problems. Mm-hmm. We hadn't played in a year and a half, almost 2 years. So I think that Kerrang tour in 2016 was like basically the first tour back.
Yeah, I've been to a few Kerrang tours. Like, Kerrang was kind of the big channel over here for people like me that like rock music, Yeah. And then we'd see you guys maybe on MTV or MTV2 as well.
Yeah.
One of the things people were asking me to ask you about was the video for In Too Deep and how much fun you had making it, because it just looks like you did.
Yeah, that video. That felt what you'd picture filming a movie. That's kind of what it felt like. Because now we've done so many videos since, and they've never really felt like quite like that. That was definitely the biggest production video we've ever done. It was a 2-day shoot. We did the first day, I believe we did the pool stuff with the stunt divers and all that kind of stuff, and Dave being chained to a hydraulic thing in the pool and being lowered, and underneath there's like security divers in case the thing malfunctions. They have to like take his feet out and make sure he doesn't die underwater. I don't know why he ever agreed to that, but he did.
Well, it looked cool though.
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, it was watching it looked dangerous. But I mean that it was probably one of the more fun shoots we've ever done. All the people in the stands were all just fans of ours that I guess because Fat Lip had already come out, so we'd been gaining some fans. So those are people we just sent out mailing list stuff like, hey, we're shooting a video, come hang out, and those are all the people that showed up. So it was cool. I remember it was based after a movie called Back to School.
Okay.
It was Rodney Dangerfield, and it was an 80s movie. And so that pool was actually the same pool they filmed the movie in as well.
Yeah.
So
that's cool little fact there.
Yeah.
That era though, like I was, say, what age was I when that came out? 13. Like, when I remember music, I remember guys like you, like Linkin Park, like Limp Bizkit, all kind of on mainstream MTV at that time. Like, it was a great time for kind of rock music, wasn't it?
Yeah. It seemed like that was I mean, through like the late 90s into the mid 2000s, it seemed like our style of music and everything was like booming. And again, like you said before, it was kind of the last era before kind of Napster hit, and then the music industry started having to change, because people weren't buying as many albums anymore. They're getting music other ways, and so that causes the record company not, to kind of pull back a little bit and have to reimagine their business model and all this stuff. So it just, that was kind of like, I guess, like the heyday for our style of music, before everything changed. And everything changed and everything went to streaming eventually, and which I also think is cool because I thought a lot of kids and stuff are discovering bands, bands like us that we're older now. Like I'm 41 this year. A 19-year-old can go on Spotify and discover Sum 41 for the first time, which is it's really cool that way.
You're going to be 41 in Sum 41. That's cool.
All of us, Derek, Dave, and I this year, 41. Derek's already 41.
What was I going to say? I seen you guys. I was looking up a few videos earlier, and I seen you guys done Reading with Mike Shinoda doing a few Linkin Park songs. That was really cool. What was that experience like? Yeah,
that was cool. I mean, that was kind of a spur of the moment type thing. Like it was probably a week or two we put that together. We just found out that we're playing, after playing the same festival together, and obviously Chester passing away, felt like it was, a cool thing to do with him, and he was into it. So yeah, we did actually both of them. That was great. That's a great song.
Yeah, Derek done a good job on it as well.
Yeah, he kind of like, if you close your eyes, it almost sounds like Chester.
Yeah,
which is good, which is hard to do.
Yeah. What's your guys' favorite city or country to play in?
Oh man,
like you say, if there's a couple of standout shows that you've done and standout festivals, maybe favorite is the wrong word to say. You just piss off people.
Yeah. No, I mean, not just saying it, but England is definitely up there. But I would think, for me, I really love going to Japan. I mean, it doesn't really matter what city. I guess Tokyo is amazing, and Osaka is amazing too. But I don't know, just the culture there is so different than what I'm used to in Toronto. And the shows, like it's everyone, all the fans there are very, very enthusiastic, and it's funny to play there because when you play the song, everyone freaks out in the audience and everyone goes crazy, and then when you stop the song, everyone just stares at you and is completely silent. Mm-hmm. And it's like you can hear like a pin drop in the audience. They're so quiet in between songs because they want to hear what you have to say, and then the song starts back up and they go bonkers again. It's a cool experience.
I heard that from, I do have a lot of wrestlers on the show and different musicians, and they all say the same thing. It's just the respectful nature of the people, I think.
Yeah. And they don't, like, shows there, you don't really see too many fights.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like, it's like a respect thing. Like they just are there to have a good time. There's pits and circle pits and the whole thing, but you never really have to stop a show because there's like a big fist fight in the audience like you would get in a lot of places in the world.
Yeah. What was the last show you guys played?
It was in Europe. We did a European tour in the beginning of 2020, January, February. I believe it was probably in Germany. I think we ended that. It was
being on the road.
February.
Do you miss being on the road? Obviously.
Oh yeah. It's it's just because it's kind of what we're used to doing. We started heavily touring in 1999, and we've kind of been going since then. And except for that kind of 1.5-2 year break for Derek, that was that kind of feels like now. You're kind of caught in this thing of like not knowing what to do with your life. Are we ever going to do this again? And you really miss it. And it feels the same because during that time when Derek was kind of going through what he was going through, you didn't have a point where you knew you were going back. And that's kind of what we feel like now. Like we have some stuff booked next year, but everything seems to always get canceled or pushed back. So it's kind of feeling like the same, like we don't know when we're actually going to go back.
Yeah, I see on your website, you're looking at, on your website, it looks like summer 22 in Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, we're supposed to be in Australia, I think, in April or something like that with the Offspring. But that tour has been pushed back 3 times now. So in the back of my mind, I'm always kind of like, well, that's just going to get pushed back again, you know? So it's like it's one of those things I don't get really excited because I know chances are things might move again, and I hope not, but that's just the reality of it right now, you know?
Yeah, and Australia is pretty strict over there as well.
Yeah. But, you know, their vaccination starting to ramp up, so hopefully everything will be good.
Yeah. And the Offspring are actually supposed to play in Ireland in December. I can't remember who's supporting them over here. It's not you guys anyway, but
No.
I can't see it happening, unfortunately.
Oh, is it? I think the Hives are, right?
Yes, that's it. The Hives. Yeah, that'd be a good show.
That's a great show. Yeah, I love the Hives.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. It's so up in the air, and oh well, what can you do?
We'll talk about the good times. In festivals in Europe, you guys have probably nearly done it all. Is there any festivals over here that stand out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Reading and Leeds, and we did Download. So those would probably be the three. I'm trying to think of the other ones we've done.
Rock am Ring.
Oh, like in Europe. Yeah, I thought you meant. Yeah, Rock am Ring, Rock am Park for sure. Those are great in Germany. There's Pink Pop and Puco Pop, like in the Netherlands and stuff like that. And every, you know, in Italy, for one reason or another, that's one of our biggest markets in the world now is Italy.
Yeah.
So we play some festivals down there. Like we played iDays and stuff like that. And every time we play in Italy, it's always crazy. And we're getting, for some reason, throughout our career, we just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger in Italy, and it's still going. And we don't really know why, because Italy, for the majority of time we've been going over there, we've always been told Italy's really a pop market. And then we look at us, and it's just like, well, how do bands like us and Linkin Park and Blink kind of break through that? And brands like us have, and we don't know the answer, and we're not asking questions. But every time we go to Italy, it's crazy. Like we played our own show in front of like 10,000 people there.
Wow.
It's one of the biggest headline shows we've ever done, and don't know why.
Yeah, big ups to Italy.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think about playing at a festival as opposed to playing your own show? Do you enjoy that, or do you just kind of, when you're making your festival set list, right, it's just got to be all the hits that people know from TV and that's it? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is the festival set list is going to be more hits and singles and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, playing your own shows, yeah, you can get into more album tracks and deeper songs. But I really like festivals because it gives me, I mean, for me, being a music fan and being a live music fan, it gives me a chance to go see all these bands that, you know, I don't have time to see because I'm always on the road. So that's what I really like about, you know, and also, you know, we come from a thing of, we always feel the need to impress the audience and make new fans all the time. We come from that, I don't want to say punk thing, but I guess it is, like, we're always trying to win over a new crowd. And that's kind of how we've been through our career. No matter when, you know, no matter if we were selling 3 million albums or whatever it was, we are always in our mind, we have to try and slay this audience to make new fans. And that's what festivals make you do, because not everyone's there for you. So you know, you're going to walk away with maybe some new fans at the end of it, which is good.
I had a guitarist on from Fozzy, Chris Jericho's band, and he said, Billy said that people at festivals just want to hear hooks. I think that's probably the truest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, and I think for a band like us, because we've been playing, you know, for over 20 years and we have like a catalog now, I think people don't even sometimes realize that some of the songs are ours. You know, so if they're at a festival, they're like, oh, I didn't know they did that one. Oh, that one too. I didn't know they did that one. So all of a sudden, you know, then the wheels start turning in people's minds, like, oh, maybe I do like this band, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, listen, man, it was a great catch up with you today, and I hope that you guys can get back on the road in some capacity soon. Anyway.
Yeah, I hope so too, and I hope to be over in Ireland. We haven't played there in a little while, but we'll be back, I'm sure, as soon as we can.
Beers on me.
I'll hold you to that for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Guinness. Pints of Guinness.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks for having me.